and she's going to take our time to speak to us through enlighten and really, unlearn. We're going to relearn, unlearn, and go through the topic. Today's session is centered on designing and delivering effective learning and development programs to enhance business profitability. And our speaker, like I said earlier, is Sandra Iheanacho. So once again, I welcome every one of us to this session. Like I said, the topic today, the topic for this evening is centered around designing and delivering effective learning and development program to enhance business profitability. And once again, our speaker is Sandra Iheanacho. So please let's welcome Sandra. So Sandra serves as the Chief Executive Officer of M-Brand Consulting, a human capital development specialized in learning, transferring effectiveness. The firm is dedicated to partnering to business to enhance their productivity and profitability by focusing on the most critical resource, which is their people. The firm focuses mainly on training, coaching, mentoring, initiatives, and human resource counseling. Sandra has a robust professional knowledge, across human resource basically, and she's a certified IFC Global Master Trainer. She's certified IFC LPI, that's a CPMA assessor. She's signatory to the GLC Principles for Learning, certified transformational coach, professional certified group and team coach, and also she's a Kirkpatrick certified professional bronze level. Very interesting profile. With over 17 years of experience, Sandra has played a pivotal role in designing and developing training content for numerous organizations, impacting over 15,000 participants through our learning programs. She's also involved in coaching, executive and coaching groups and teams. Sandra moderates strategies and envisioning sessions, offering consultation to macro, small, medium, and large businesses, as well as the private sector institution. She's a sought-after speaker on workplace learning. Sandra actively participates in domestic and international conferences. She's she works on designing courses, conducting training sessions, mentoring individual and group, as well as managing training projects, coaching individuals and teams. Sandra consistently infuses our work with passion, enthusiasm, and a growth mindset, which is encapsulated by the PEG, beyond our responsibility. At M-Brand Consulting, Sandra plays a critical role as a valued resource person at the Lagos Business School and serves as distinguished facility member of the Enterprise Development Center. Sandra sits on the board of the Associate of Elite Human Resource Professional, that's AHRP, and also Sandra also the foundation. Sandra motivated skills and extensive experiences have not set her apart, but also made her a highly regarded asset of the realm of human capital development. She's also known as the Oracle. My people will say Ifa. So she's Ifa in HR. So once again, let's welcome Sandra as she takes us through today's session, like I mentioned. So hello, Sandra, welcome. We're looking forward to
Hi, Lola.
learning.
Good evening.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you so much. Okay, can I share my screen? Good evening, everyone. Okay, so Lola, do you want to permit me to? Okay, good. Let me share my screen now. Okay. So good evening, everyone. I'm just trying to share my screen. Please bear with me. Thank you. Lola, I hope you can hear me clearly.
Yes, I can. Yes, I
Okay,
can.
please let me know when you're not hearing me clearly again, please, so that
Okay,
I can know
okay,
what to
then
do.
that's fine. Okay.
So once again, good evening, everyone. It's a pleasure to be with you in your midst this evening. Good morning, in case there are people signing in from another country that is already morning. Good afternoon, wherever you are, and good night, wherever you are. It's a pleasure to be in your midst this evening. Thank you so much for being the host today. And so this evening, we will be discussing on designing and delivering effective L&D programs to enhance our business profitability. So designing and delivering effective L&D programs to enhance business profitability. So welcome again. So glad you are here, just like I said. So welcome. So glad everyone is here. It's a pleasure to have you here. Let me just ask, I'll also be looking at who knows why. So by the way, this class is going to be interactive. So I'll expect you to make use of the box in, and if I need you to maybe speak, Lolade could unmute the microphone for you to speak. And so let's make it interactive in order for us to learn together. So please, could you use your chat box to tell me, why do you think I'm so glad you're here this evening? Is there anybody? Why do you think I'm so glad you are here? So Lolade, you'll be my other pair of eyes. If I can't see what people are writing, or if I can't read it, you'll be my other pair of eyes. You help me to read out when I cannot see it or to read it out.
Okay, that's fine.
Thank you. So why am I so glad you're here today? Oh, let's talk. Let's type. Okay, I can see something now. Okay, because we would. Okay, I can hear you clearly. Thank you, Larry. Because we will learn from one another. Awesome. It's an opportunity to learn from Abiodu. Yes. Yes. Thank you so much. Esther says it's a learning session. Thank you. Oluwasomi says, because you know we'll learn from you. Yes, and I also learned from you. Hosea says, because you want to share knowledge and experience. I like this says, because it's another opportunity to learn. Yes, thank you so much. Let it keep it coming. Keep it coming. Of course, I cannot take everything because of, or also be watchful over time. However, I don't much everyone for that. And then introductions, please type into the chat box. Where are you joining in from? Are you joining in from the UK, from Canada, Australia, Zimbabwe, Zimbabwe, or what's the name of that? Zambisa forest. You're joining from the island, from Munshi, from Alakoto, wherever you're joining in, chat and tell everyone, say, hello, this is where I'm joining in from, Lagos, Nigeria, Sulere, okay? For those joining from Lagos, Nigeria, tell us when now. Are you joining from Agege? Is that what I don't want to say? Just type in where you're joining from, even though from Awoyaya, Lagos, Bagada, Lagos, Sulere, Lagos. Joining from UK. Oh, who is this joining from UK? Adebayo joining from UK. This one you're laughing. Are you sure you're really joining from UK? Why are you putting that emoticon and laughing? Is it a crime to join from UK? Right? Okay.
Joining from the UK, Nigeria.
From UK in Nigeria. Okay. Hosea says, I joined from Abuja FCT. Thank you. Tomiwa from Ibadan. Okay, thank you so much. So just keep it coming so that your fellow colleagues, friends would know where you're joining in from. And Lolade has already introduced me. However, one or two things she didn't say about me. So I'm an ex-banker. I'm a CEO, she said that. I'm a mother of 6 children, 3 boys and 3 girls. And we say in AHRP that learning is our DNA. See, I don't stop learning. I say when you stop learning, you start dying. So I have 2 certifications. One, I'm already writing my project that will be certified based on return on investment. So I'm very high on return on investment. That's the certification I'm doing. The second one, when I'm done with that, I'm going for the next one by Professor Robert Brinkerhoff. So it's when it comes to return on investment for learning programs, I am very high on it. So I keep getting certified, getting more knowledge. Then I'm an L&D transfer advocate, saying every L&D program, you can really get a return on investment. Transfer means putting it into practice. That's what you wanted at the beginning. That's what you should be doing. So that's what transfer is. Let's see it happening. So that's what I've been advocating about, that all our L&D programs should really be effective, should have transfer, let the organization see the benefit of what they paid for the L&D. I'm also a self-leadership advocate. I believe the leadership begins when foundational leadership. If you're not self-led, you cannot lead people. So unless you're self-led before you're able to lead people, I'm a problem solver and I'm also positive-minded. I have my personal dictionary. It's called the Oracle Dictionary. There's no impossibility there. I see only possibilities. Unless we've not searched. However, there's always a possibility. There's always an answer to every problem. And that's my personal opinion. That's what I believe. So that's a bit about me. So let's dive in. Housekeeping. I'm sure we all know the housekeeping or the virtual sessions. If you want type into chat, I can see people typing into chat when you need to speak. If you want to speak orally, you can raise up your hand, emoticon hands, and Lolade could unmute the microphone and you could speak. Please feel free to then if you, I'm sure everyone's microphone is already muted. However, if it is not, if you're not speaking, please ensure your microphone is muted. And if you want to turn on your video, that camera, that's fine with the video. However, why sometimes we leave it off is because of connectivity. So that's a bit of housekeeping. I just also want to bear with me. I am using except one of the network. I'm using all of them. I have a broadband, I have a MiFi, I have a phone. I have like 4 different networks. Yes, broadband, MiFi. So I just said I have to make sure that I don't lose connection. So if I lose connections, it's not my fault. I don't know if it would be my village people, because how can I be using 4 different? They're all here. This is this. The broadband is there. So why wouldn't it happen? So let's believe that nothing would happen, that we would keep moving on. And so I just needed to give that caveat. Thank you so much, everyone. So we're going to take a poll now. However, I want you to type it into the chat box. Just type into the chat box. I want to believe that, I don't want to believe. So let me say, so type into the chat box. Are you an employee? If you're an employee, are you in HR or L&D? Or are you an entrepreneur? Or are you a trainer? Whichever are you. What role do you play? If you're an employee in your organization, what role do you play? If you're an employer, are you an entrepreneur? What area? So it's good to know those that we have in-house here. So I'm going to use just 30 seconds to 1 minute to see that. You want to type into chat. Thank you, Lucy, for Medugri. Thank you. Wow. ID is joining all the way from Medugri. Wow. Thank you, ID. Okay, so do you want to type in what role? What's your role? Okay. HRBP, thank you very much, Adebayo, employee, HRBP. Olaide, entrepreneur, thank you so much. Kudirat, employee, HRM, good. Thank you. Tola, HRBP, okay. Esther, HR, Omodo, Omodo, I hope I got that right. I'm sorry. Zainab, HRM, okay. HR manager, Lucy, recruitment specialist, L&D. So we just have like just 2 L&D, HR executive, HR admin, HR operations, Femi entrepreneur, HR. Okay, good. Let's move on. Please just keep it coming. It's giving me an idea of the people we have here. So we have host here, entrepreneur management consultant. Okay, awesome. So that will give me an idea of how to tailor what I'll be talking about today. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Okay. Now we're going to look at our session objectives. What are our session objectives today? What do I want us to accomplish at the end of this session today? So by the end of this session, you should be able to articulate how to align L&D strategies with business objectives. Then you should be able to articulate essential steps for designing and evaluating a training program. Then you should be able to explain the essential steps for designing an L&D strategy. And last but not the least, you should be able to develop a plan of action to implement the insights you will gain from this session. So these are the 4 objectives. These are our destination today. So if you notice, I'm sure you can see the beautiful place where that is. That's my destination this year. I'm hoping I want to go to Seychelles. So that's my destination, vacation destination. So if you don't mind, type into chat where it's your vacation of your destination. Where you want to go for vacation to this year. Don't worry about where it is. HRP, we are very capable. We are very capable. We'll get you the visa. We'll even pay for your flight and get you there. So just type into the chat box, where is your vacation destination you want? Where? Just type into the chat box. My mind is Seychelles. So this is where I'm taking you to. So wherever that you want to get to, some will say their village. That's not the problem. That's fine. That is exactly where I'll be taking you today, to that place you want to have your vacation. That is where I'll be taking you today. Mine is already Seychelles. So I'll be going to Seychelles. Let me see. Italy. Fumlayo says Italy. Beauty says Rwanda. Patricia says Liverpool. Wow. Emo, hope you are here. I hope our global president is here. Get ready to take these people to these places they want to go to. Hosea says Jos. Miango, Bulgaria. Oh, yeah, he's capable. Thank you so much, Emo. So keep it coming. Wherever it is you want to get to is your destination. That is where I'll be taking you tonight. So sit tight. Fasten your seatbelt. We are cruising at 33,000 feet above sea level. So just sit back and relax, and I will take you there. Okay, so let's move on. Keep it coming. That's fine. Please keep it coming. I can still see messages coming. Keep it coming. Now get there. You know, if you want to fly now, for those that are saying Bulgaria, you need passport, you need a visa, you need ticket, you need even per diem will give you that you used to buy and shop. You know, you will not go all the way to Bulgaria without shopping or room without shopping. Now, so for this session, what is the session roadmap? How do we will get there? How do I want us to get there? I'm going to be doing an introduction about L&D. What exactly is L&D? And in that, I'm going to also try to debunk the myth of training versus L&D. Try to debunk the myth. So we'll look at a bit of introduction. We'll make use of polls. I've done one poll already. We'll also make use of case study. I have a live case study. This happened real. So I thought about it and I said, why don't I use a case study of something of an organization? And the organization gave me permission to make use of them. Of course, I won't use their name. So we're going to be using a live case study to talk about all we're going to be doing today. So I'm going to use case study, then Q&A. So of course, there'll be time for Q&A, questions and answers. And if you even have questions, you can even start typing questions as I go ahead. Lolade would always be commentate, and when it's time for questions, we will take those questions. Then we'll also take your next line of action. Please, you cannot leave this session without having a next line. So please get ready. If it is just one thing, even just one thing, how you must leave this session with a next line of action. What will I start doing? Or what will I stop doing? Or what will I continue to do as a result of everything I'm going to learn today? So you have to leave here with the next line of action. So start getting ready your next line of action as you listen. Now, the next thing we're going to look at is what is injected benefits? Why do you want to join? Why did you join the session today? Which I call, what is your why for being in this session today? Do you want to type into chat? What is your why for being in this session today? The why factor. I call it the why factor. Why? Because today is Saturday, for crying out loud. There's Owambe, there's parties, there's outing, there's going to visit people, going to visit families, loved ones, and yet you decided to sit in Zoom call to listen to us, to talk. No. For that reason, in short, you know what to say. You must get the why for being here. So what is your why? Someone says, I just want to hear Sandra's voice and laugh. Patricia says to gain more to gain up to date knowledge. Abiodi says to learn. Okay, awesome. Oluwashola says to learn. Karim says to gain more insight on L&D. Thank you so much. Just keep it coming. Esther says to gain additional knowledge, to learn, unlearn, and relearn. Thank you so much, Esther. And Folake says to add more value. Just keep it coming. I may not read everything. However, I'm sure your colleagues, everyone that is online, want to read. So just keep it coming. Thank you so much. Thank you. Sure, I will try my very best to ensure that you get your wife for being here, not being in an Owambe or being in a party or being in a dinner, and yet you're here to learn. And so let's move ahead. Now, I want to ask, how engaged will you be in today's session? On a scale of 1 to 10, 1 means multitasking, half listening. We have integrity. So please be truthful. Why? 10 says, so 1 being the lowest, 10 being the highest, says all in, ready to make a usable plan. So how engaged will you be in today's session? On the scale of lowest, 10 being the highest, please. Let's see it coming. How engaged? Lolade says 10. 10, provided Sandra makes us laugh all through. Hi. This Ajayi. Yeah, leave me alone. So 8, 9, 8. Thank you so much for being truthful. 8. Thank you so much. Okay, let's keep the numbers coming. 7. Adebayo says 7. Lucy says 8. Thank you so much. Okay, I've not seen anything. Michael says 9. Thank you. I've not seen anything. Okay. Michael, you need to be very proud of your people here. We've not seen anything below 7. So what that means is, so those of you that picked from 7 to 10, I would encourage you to select a learning objective you will use as a practice strategy example for today's session. So I've already shown you the 4 objectives we want to cover today. So just choose one that you want to use as a learning objective, as a strategy to say, yes, this is my why. This is why I was in this session all through today. 8, 9, 7. That is awesome. Thank you so much, everyone. And let's move ahead. I'm sure you can see this man. You can see his hands. This can be a man, a woman. At least I'm in Nigeria. I can free to say man and woman. I cannot say they, them. Or is there any they, them here? You're on your own. I'm not going to say they and them here. I'm still in Nigeria. So what does that mean? You can see the fist covered. What it says is, if you're in this session today and your mind is like this, covered, someone says, I want to learn, unlearn, and relearn. Thank you so much. That means your mind is not like this. Your mind is like this. So your mind is going to please try and don't allow your mind to be like this. Because if your mind is like this, you won't gain anything. If you're fixed, you won't get anything. Or you feel, I know everything, I don't want to learn, I know this more than her, you wouldn't gain anything. And however, this is how I want your mind to be today. Open. And when your mind is open, what happens? You can get a whole lot. That is not just coins. If I could have put dollars or pounds, if I had gotten an emoticon that had dollars and pounds and naira and whatever I have put it, but this is what I have. So we would want you to have an open mind, whereby you're open to learn, asking questions, constructive questions, constructive criticism, to be able to, for us to learn together. And that's what I would expect from you today. Yes, now let's go into what we have. You would agree with me that they keep saying we're in a VUCA volatile, uncertain. We all agree. We all agree that a lot of things are happening in the businesses now, in organizations. We all agree that there's so much competition. Even the economy is even a problem. Not just Nigeria economy, funny enough, it's global. Not just in Nigeria, even in the UK, even in Canada, where even in America. So it's not about a Nigerian thing, it's all over. And because of this, businesses are even struggling and finding it difficult. How do we keep our people? How do we retain our people? How do we ensure that our people do not leave us? How do we ensure that we don't keep churning out? So you spend so much in recruitment, next thing, in 6 months, 1 year, the person is gone. Maybe the person has not even given the value, you've not even gotten to investment recruitment exercise, and the person has left. That person has jackpot, or the person has left your organization and gone to another organization. And so at this time we are, whereby we have evolving business environment, we have things turning around, the economy, different things happening in the economy, you would agree with me that L&D is not just a nice to have. It's not just a good to have now. L&D is a critical component we must have in our businesses. It's something we must be very deliberate about. It's something we must be very intentional about. It's something we must constructively think about. How do we ensure that our L&D programs are getting us that return on investment we want? How do we ensure that our L&D programs are able to help us achieve those business objectives? So it's no more a good to have. A nice to have. It is important to have. You must be able to show that your L&D programs are giving you a return on investment. And so now we say, I personally say the L&D, we are not looking for seats. We're not looking for seats again. We already have what is it? We already have chairs at the table. Our chair is already there. So in some organizations, I know that is the HR. So we have an L&D department that is in charge of the L&D, and why you have the HR. Why some organizations, the HR person does all that, does the L&D, does the comp and ben, does the payroll and all that. So I'll be speaking to whichever you are, you would understand. Are you just L&D? I'll also be speaking to you. Are you HR carrying out the L&D functions? I'll also be speaking to you. So if you are an L&D specialist, that's basically the area where you are in. So this is very critical. This is so important for us. Why? For our businesses to be able to innovate, for our businesses to be able to transform, for our businesses to be able to gain the growth, to keep growing. It's so critical that L&D function, the L&D initiative, the L&D strategy, the L&D must be what? The foundation in our businesses. So L&D is not just a business expense. No, it's no more. It's strategic. And that is why we advise. So when I speak to L&D professionals and HR professionals, I advise them, you need to learn. You need to learn about the business and ensure you make L&D not just operational, not just, when it comes to cutting costs, let me put it, I'm sure a lot of people are experiencing that. Where they go to is the L&D. And so I don't want to say, I'm going to say something when I move ahead, because there's a question I want to ask us. It goes to L&D. That's where to cut costs. It's not even sales, it's not even the operation, it's not even finance, it's L&D. How do we change that narrative in our businesses? How do we change that narrative in organizations? And that's what we'll be trying. 2 hours is a very short time. However, we're going to try to see how I can help you to be able to start changing that narrative in your business. So that's what we'll be looking at today. Okay. And I said so many organizations continually seek ways to enhance their performance, to sustain growth. And if you want to enhance performance, you want to sustain growth, why are you looking for? Why are you looking for? What you need is your L&D, an effective and efficient L&D. Don't look far. You need that. It's very, very important. And it is one of the greatest strategy any business, any organization will come to realize, that our L&D, which has to do with our performance of our business, the performance of the organization, the L&D function, then we need to pay more attention to it if you're not paying more attention to it. So learning and development initiatives are not just merely supplementary. No, We are not. It is pivotal in driving business profitability, because who are the ones when L&D, when we're talking about L&D, what are we talking about? We're talking about your employees, who are the most important asset in your business. I'm sure you all agree with me that when it comes to it's not your machines, it's not the buildings. The most important asset in every business is your people. Your people factor is the most critical and most important asset in your business. And for you to ensure that you're performing, you're growing, you're expanding, you're transforming, why would you now leave that which is very important to lie to waste? And so we're not just supplementary. We are saying that we are critical in creating that pivotal you need in your business. We are critical in ensuring that you're able to foster the workforce that you want, that workforce you've dreamt of. You need a workforce that is motivated, a workforce that is agile. It is the L&D function that can do that. However, you agree with me that many organizations struggle. I don't know if I should ask this question, if some people will be vulnerable enough to share. Let me still ask. If you're vulnerable to share, that's fine, because this is a learning platform. What would you say about your L&D? Your L&D strategy? Do you have one? But no, I'll get back to that. What would you say about the L&D function in your business, in your organization? So on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being the lowest, 10 being the highest, right now, where would you put your L&D function in your organization? Let me just give some seconds. Let me see if there are people that will be vulnerable enough to share. If you don't want to share, that's fine. Maybe. Okay. So let's have the numbers. What would you give? One number, what would you say? 1 being the lowest, 10 being the highest. What would you say your L&D function in your organization is? Where will you put it? Thank you so much, Mary. Thank you too. I thank you for being so vulnerable to share. I did. Thank you, 9. Tolu, thank you, 3. Current 8, previous 3. Wow, Sandra Saige. I would like to know what you did. Let me note your name down. Or let me just note your name down. I have a bio here already. To hear from how you have a 9. Okay, Esther says 4, Hosea says 7, Omoefe says 2. Thank you so much for being very vulnerable. Mary Jane says 5. Thank you. Will you be vulnerable enough to, I'm going to take the low numbers, 1 or 2 of the low numbers, then 1 or 2 of the high numbers. Who is the person that will be vulnerable? If you're below 5, maybe from 5 and below, would you like to share with us, why did you give your organization that number? Why do you think, what made you to say, well, maybe this is what we've done, this is where we are? It doesn't mean that you don't want to, that's why you're in this session today. Is anybody that wants to, do you want to raise up your hand, and Lolade will unmute the microphone? Thank you so much, Mary. Thank you. Mary, in short, you've won a gift from me. Lolade, please take note of Mary, take note of her name. She has won a recharge card from me. She's been so vulnerable and she has put up her hand. Please take note of her name and you send me her number. Mary, you've won a recharge card, a 1,000 recharge card from me. Thank you so much. Do you want to unmute your microphone and share? Do you want to unmute her microphone, Lalede, in case she cannot?
I'm trying to do that.
Okay.
Okay,
Thank you.
I just read. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening, Mary.
My name is Mary. So yes, in my current place of work, currently our learning and development is at 2. And that's because I believe the management is not willing to get the staff employed. They feel they would be spending money, and in the end, these people may just decide to leave the organization to go elsewhere. Yes, as a human resource professional, I've talked to them several times that the knowledge you impart in your workforce is what you get. Like that's the productivity you get from them. So when you're not training them, you should not expect them to get everything right on point. So that's where we currently are in my organization, and I really don't know how to turn this around, but I pray God help me.
Thank you so much. And that's why you're in this session today, Mary. We're going to find out how to turn it around, right? I hear you. I hear your pains because I get, so however, I don't want to say anything first because there's a question I want to ask before I start giving answers. Let me hold on to what you've said. So let me hear from the person. If you're from 7 and above, please, do you want to be vulnerable enough to share with us? What are you doing that's placed your L&D function in a 7, in an 8, in a 9? It will be wonderful to hear. What are you doing? Is there somebody that wants to share with us? Damilola, thank you so much. Damilola, unmute the microphone. Okay, I think I have 2 hands. However, let me hear from Damilola. Hands came, or he or her, I don't know, came first. Let me hear from you, Damilola, and tell us your number because I cannot see your number.
When you say my number, what number? Good evening.
So on a scale of 1 to 10, what number did you pick?
Okay.
Where is your L&D
I
function?
picked number 9.
You're on 9. Whoa. Yes. Okay, let's hear you. So what have you done?
So my current organization is very, very big on training. When I first joined in 2022, I said that it was as if they were trying to reprogram you to be able to work successfully in that organization. So whatever toxic traits might have been bringing from where you were working, it's as if they had a mandate that you must be like one of them. So the trainings are back to back to back. I remember my first 6-8 months. I was literally just going from one training to another training to another training, onboarding, managers training, how to respect your subordinates while still expecting results from them. Different trainings named different things. Even the salespeople are taught how to sell so that, because our prices are a big premium. So the salespeople are also taught how to sell our services with our premium prices. So to be honest, we are at a good night, even with the whole COVID, cutting down costs and all of that. We are always being trained. We are always being trained in my current organization.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Okay, let me take one more person. I would love to take ID. Yeah, since your hand was up. Ose, can you just speak like in 30 seconds and let me take ID? 30 seconds. Tell us what. Tell us your number and tell us what. Thank you. You can unmute your microphone. Hosea Sukushi. I hope I got that right.
Okay,
Are you there?
Sukushi.
Okay.
Yes, my number is 7.
Okay.
And one of the motivating factors is the fact that after working as head of HR for more than 20 years, I established my own consultancy before I retired. The first set of staff that I had, after working for 3 years, they could not produce anything tangible. And one of the reasons was because they were not trained. So I made up my mind that I will not employ anybody that is not trained or I cannot train the person. So that's why the second set of staff that I employed, I spent more than $1 million training them. Unfortunately, they all left, just like the fears of
wow.
They left, but I'm not discouraged. I'm still pushing on. And anytime I employ a staff, I do the onboarding myself, do the whatever training, and then the little funds that I have, I always invested in training. Because if you don't train them, whatever you do, at the end of the day, they will leave because they are not trained. And then as a consultant, if you don't train your people, you will not be able to get clients. Even when you get clients, your clients will not continue with you because of the fact that your staff are not trained and they are not giving them what they really need. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Osia. Thank you. Thank you. And I'll be speaking to you later. I feel you, Osia. 1 million, train them, and they've gone. Yeah. We will come to you. Don't worry.
Okay,
thank you so much. Okay, ID, let's just do 30 minutes, 30 seconds, 1 minute. Thank you, ID.
Okay, good everyone. So my company will operate within the technology space. So so the specialization area is highly dependent on the amount of the number of certified professionals you have in your system. So my company presently has over 14 advanced specialization area within the Microsoft ecosystem, because we operate within the Microsoft ecosystem. That advanced specialization places us first in West Africa and East Africa within the Microsoft partners network. So with that, we are very, very big on training, and even to not just the guys in the production area, across all the support functions. If you hear our guys, our staff speak, right, you will know that these guys are really people that knows their onion. Even people that are not in production, they have knowledge. They are able to support those production functions because of the amount of training they are exposed to. In fact, you don't just have any reason not to get, because you have these trainings virtually. They are everywhere you turn, they are right there. Wow.
Someone has hacked it. Someone has hacked into this thing. Thank you so much. That's the challenge we have on when so sorry everyone. That's some of the challenges we have, right? And people just hack into the meeting and okay. ID, are you still with us?
Yes. So the more reason why enterprises should not rely so much on Zoom for because of things like this. Understand me? We preach the adoption of Microsoft Team. Something like this cannot happen within the Microsoft Team environment. It cannot happen. So we are, we are very big on training. So because of the advanced specialization that Microsoft expects, and not just Microsoft and the other OEM partners that we work with expect us to have. So we are very, very big on training across all the functions. Yes.
Thank you. Thank you so much, ID, and thank you. We've learned that. So I've not even said that. I would also think about, I have Microsoft Team in my business, but I hardly use it, and it's paid Microsoft 365. So I'm going to also think about this feedback you just gave us to maybe leave more of Zoom and go to Microsoft Team. Thank you so much for that. So you can see how we learn. We are talking about how to design effective L&D programs to enhance our business profitability, and we've already learned something from ID, who is into so there's a learning for us too. Okay, so let me move ahead. I need to be faster now. I saw something Sandra wrote. Let me just say it out, because Sandra said I have sore throat. So sorry, Sandra. Sorry about the sore throat. The current organization has a full-fledged L&D team with a curriculum tailored to different job roles and skill building. Trainings are organized internally and externally. The previous organization struggled with putting budget aside for training. At the end of the day, we had to always organize internal training just to make sure we are closing skill gaps, but there wasn't much support from their management for external trainings. Can you imagine? Can you imagine? Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Adebayo said I detest Zoom with passion. My brother, we will know what we will do. Thank you so much for all those. I'm so sorry for all those that we're able, that so sorry about that. Okay, now this brings me to and that's why I said I didn't want to say anything until I asked this question. Now let me ask my next question. Is training and development the same as L&D? Is training the same as L&D? Is training the same as L&D? Do you want to type into chat? If you want to, if it's something so long and you want to just quickly speak, because I don't want to, I'm watching my time, so I don't overbid my time, because I have so much and I have a case study to share with us. Is training the same as L&D? If you can't type into chat, please type into chat. It will be easier for us. However, unless what you want to say is just in 20, 30 seconds, then I can call you up. Okay, I can see Tochukwu. Okay, Tochukwu, you can quickly unmute your microphone and just briefly, is training and development same as L&D? Tochukwu, I can't hear you. I hope it's not me. I can't hear you. Lolade, can you hear Tochukwu? Hello, can you still hear me?
Audible. Yeah, you are audible.
Okay. Yes, Tochukwu, we can hear you now.
Okay, so I said training and development and learning are not necessarily the same. Training leads to learning. The learning is centered on the learner, the participants, while the training is probably centered on the trainer. However, training may lead to learning, but not necessarily. So they are not the same. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you. So why I asked if training and development, and I had to debunk the myth. I'm so happy I'm seeing people saying no. However, from the explanations, it sounded like, because when I asked about what's your L&D function, what I heard most people saying was training, talked about just training, right? So I'm happy that we all agreed, and most of us, I saw on chat, agree that L&D, training and L&D is not the same thing. Good. So that means I don't have so much work to do now. Training and L&D is not the same thing. Training is a subset of L&D. Now, the learning and development training is just one of it. So under L&D, we have training, we have coaching, we have mentoring, we have on-the-job rotation, we have job shadowing, we have self-learning. So all of these make up the L&D. So training is just a subset. It's just one of the L&D components. So, because most times when I ask people these things, or where I see people just talk about training. I don't hear of other areas of also help, because of course we all know that training is not the panacea of all the problems in an organization. Some of the things you might be thinking that is training, coaching might just be the solution. Some of the things you might be thinking that is training, on the job might just be the solution. Job rotation, job shadowing can just be the solution. So training is not everything. So, however, I'm glad that we all agree with it. So now let's move forward, since we now agree with this. That means we need to now ensure that our L&D is more robust. It's more robust. So training is just an activity that is concerned with transferring skills. It could be instructor-led, content-based intervention, designed to do what? For skills and knowledge, and also behavioral changes. That's what training is. And this can be achieved in various ways. It can be achieved through e-learning, through your LMS, through your LXP, learning experience platforms, or your LMS, through the MOOC, things like Udemy, Allison, which is what we call MOOC, through open training programs, through experts, instructors, offsite training. These are various ways that trainings can be achieved, which is even one of the things we are doing at this online, this virtual training. That these are various areas that training can be achieved. So training is just what? A subset of L&D. And what is L&D? Which is learning and development, encompasses everything. It's a set of activities that an organization designs to ensure that their employees are able to improve their performance and be able to achieve their goals. Is it skills? Is it behavior? Is it knowledge? It encompasses all of that. So it's a total representation of the various ways as your business, you're able to empower your employees to achieve your objectives. So that is what L&D. So just like I said, so training is just a part of it. So let's move ahead. You will get the slides. Let's move ahead now. Now, let me ask my next question. I'll ask a lot of questions, so please, that's how we can continue we can get to where we are going to. I don't want it to just be me talking, just instructor-led. I'm just talking. I can do that. I can talk through till my 2 hours is over. However, I want it to be a bit of interactive. So, does your business have an L&D strategy? Let me ask. Yes, no? Does your business have an L&D strategy? That's my first question. Thank you, Tolu. I love the way you have differentiated it. Thank you. Tolu says no. Okay, thank you. Beauty says yes. Mary says no. Lolade says no. Okay. So we have just one yes. Hosea says yes. Thank you. 2 yeses. No. So does your business, when I say your business, I mean your organization. I hope you know that. Tolua Lopez says maybe. Okay, you're not sure. Okay, maybe by the time I finish, you know if they do have, right? Not a problem. That's fine. Emmanuel says no. Yes, we have an L&D department. Okay. That you have an L&D department, do you also have an L&D strategy? Because there are people that have L&D department and don't have strategy. Yes, we start with needs assessment. Okay. Okay. Starting with needs assessment is just something. I'm talking about the strategy itself, not just that's one of the things you do. Not that I'm talking about the strategy document. Okay. When guys say yeah to learn and structure it better. Okay. Okay. Thank you so much. Maybe Ajibayo says maybe no problem. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. So please keep it coming. Good. So we have more of no's. So you can see where we're going to now. So a lot of organizations know about training. However, when it comes to L&D, which training is just a subset, a lot of us HR, we are not aware of it, right? Right? Beautiful. That's why we're today. Now, for those that said yes, what does it entail? Let me hear from you. I had 2 or 3 yeses. Those that said yes, what does it entail? Do you want to share with us? Will you be vulnerable enough to share with us? What does your L&D strategy entail? Those that said yes. So let me ask 2 in 1 question. Then what steps did you take to design it? How did you go about it? Okay. Please help me because of time. Those that said yes, if not, I can move ahead. If you're not comfortable to share, that's fine. I'll move ahead. Okay, going.
Okay, hi. Good evening.
Going. You not type this one. This one is long.
Hi, good
okay,
evening.
Good evening.
Can you hear me?
Okay,
my name is
yes, thank you. Please go ahead. Your microphone is muted now, so unmute it. Good. Please go ahead. Thank you. Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, the reason why I didn't unmute earlier because I have some children in the background. But let me just quickly
You've muted your microphone again. Is mute your microphone better? It's unmuted
you
now.
need to understand what your business goals and objectives are, first of all. And then when you understand, and again, HR in totality, your HR goals must be aligned with the organizational goals. And same also your compensation and benefits, your learning and development, and every other function of HR, right? So you need to first understand what the business objectives are, and then ensure that whatever you're coming up with is aligned with that. Now, how do you ensure it's aligned with that? You first need to conduct a needs assessment. A needs assessment will let you know where your organization wants to be, where they are, and the gap that is there, and what solution needs to be created or implemented to be able to close that gap. Now, like you had clearly said, then based off on that, you now set your L&D goals. Now, as you have clearly said, training is just an aspect of L&D. There are other things that, other sorts of learning and development strategies that can be implemented, such as coaching and mentoring, job rotation, job shadowing. So depending on what gap is, and then you're now able to decide which of the strategies should be implemented to fill that gap.
Hey, let's clap for Najewe. Okay. Thank you. Okay, are you still saying, okay, I'm so sorry. I thought you muted your microphone, so I thought you had finished speaking. Are you still speaking, Najewe?
I'm done now.
Okay. So, okay, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Good. Okay, let me go ahead. I'll not ask anybody else because I'm also looking at time. Let me not ask anybody else because we must do that case study. I think that case study we must do it today. So let me move ahead. So thank you so much, Onajewe, for sharing that with us. We sincerely appreciate you. And you did really capture it. Now, let's go ahead now. Now, what is an L&D strategy? What is it? It is an action plan. You heard what Onajewe said when she was speaking. It's an action plan that identifies your needs, your business needs. As a business, what are their needs when it comes to the people? When it comes to your people needs, what are their needs? and how you will meet those needs. That's basically what an L&D strategy is all about. It is a strategy. It's an action plan. Bam, 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 bam. First, you start with the business. Okay, I'll come there. The business objectives, how to align with the business objectives. What have we found doing need assessment? And of course, carries need to, but that one is very, very key. If not, you'll be on your own. So it is an action plan that identifies your organization needs and what it will do to meet those needs. That is what an L&D strategy is. Why is an L&D strategy important? Think about that later. It's for you. It's very important. Of course, you know why it's important, but think about it. I'll ask you when it comes there. Let's move ahead. Every L&D strategy, there are goals. There are 3 goals. I took L&D. Every L&D strategy, if that strategy is not meeting your organization's performance need, it has, what would I call it? I will not call that an L&D strategy. So one thing is that it must meet your organizational performance need, which I call the test. I'm going to tell you, I call it a test. There's a test. I will show you how to go about that test. So if your L&D strategy is not meeting your organizational performance needs goals, meaning that, so for instance, if your organization wants to, one of its business objectives for this year or the current year is customer, right? And it is customer satisfaction. Now, when you want to design the L&D L&D objective, because it's the objectives that forms the strategy, is a plan. If you decide to take up 3, so you can decide, don't bite more than you can chew. So for instance, your organization has said, this year, want to look at customer satisfaction, very high. We've noticed that customers keeps complaining. I want to also think about expansion. So these are 2 areas that are key on that year. Your L&D goals or your L&D objectives must cover these 2 areas. How can the L&D help the business to expect one? How can the L&D help the business to be able to satisfy its customers? If it's unable to cover these 2 things, which is the big business goal, then what you have is a walk in the park. It is nothing to write home about. It's not saying we'll train this, we'll train staff, we'll train. That's not what we're saying. Because it might not be training that the business needs at that point in time. By the time you do the needs analysis, by the time you do the skill gaps analysis, you find that it may not even be training. So one is it must meet your organization's performance needs. It must reflect and align with the overall business strategy. Meet the performance need, overall business strategy. What's the overall business strategy? So just like what Onajere says, the first step for you to be able to develop your L&D strategy, you must know your business objectives. You must know, first of all, you must even know the vision, the mission, your core values, fine. Then for this year, when we started this year, or your organization might be having a 3-year plan, 3-year strategic goals. What were they? So for even if it is a 3-year, year 1, they already have what they want to achieve year 1, year 2, 3. On a 3-year and we're on year 3. For this year, 2024, what is their plan? What do they want to achieve? It is that way that we, that L&D, the function, you will find, after you understand what they want to achieve, you will now find out ways, what are those capabilities that will help them to achieve that goal. Your organization cannot be talking about customer satisfaction. You're talking about sales. You'll be sending people on sales training, or you'll be coming up with sending people to be coached on sales when they're talking about customer satisfaction. You can see that people are running at one is running, and that's why they'll say there's no table for you. I mean, there's no chair for you at the table. So, and you must show that L&D is meeting the organizational needs, is meeting helping the business to achieve its objectives, just as sales will show. Sales will show their figures. We must, as L&D, show that yes, we're helping the business to meet the objectives. So we're going to see how to be able to do this as we go along. Again, the L&D strategies uses the financial and operational language of the business. Now, in the case study, using percentage KPIs, they said they will be in 20%, that they want to have a 30% increase. They want to have a 50%. You must speak the language you must speak the financial language. That's why I know a lot of HR, we have issues. Personally, years ago, I had to get a finance coach. Yes, because I wanted to learn how to do balance sheet, asset, and all that. I didn't know it so well. I had to get a finance coach that I paid to teach me. So come out of your comfort zone. Are you HR? Are you L&D? Go and learn that thing. Now you don't need to pay a coach like I did. You can go online and go to YouTube. YouTube will teach you plenty things. Udemy will teach you. So you must, as your L&D strategy, must use what? Financial terms and operational language of the business. If the business is saying that we want to have an 80% increase in our want to have an 80% increase in our profit, our profit wants to increase by 80%. How can L&D ensure that we put our own portion? At least we give some. We might not, of course, we cannot get the 80%. Everybody have their own portion. What portion can we contribute as L&D to that 80% the business wants to achieve that year? Okay. So let's move ahead. I hope we are together. Please feel free to let me know, ask questions, drop. You're not too clear, just feel free to call me back. Now, there's something I call the L&D strategy business test. I call it the business test. Now, there are key 3 tests for us as L&D to ensure that your L&D strategy is aligned to your business outcomes. One is what I call the relevance test. And the relevance test has to do with how does the strategy meet the opportunities or challenges in the business? So if, for instance, the business is thinking about, one of the challenge is our customers, we are losing customers. That's a challenge. Now, how can your L&D strategy help your business to ensure they don't lose customers again? Now, an opportunity is we want to expansion to grow. How can your L&D strategy ensure that it helps your business to meet those opportunities? If your L&D strategy is not doing any of those 2 things, that opportunities or challenges, that means you just have a paper. It's not a strategy. It's not okay. Then the next one is, Lolade, please chat me up and let me know what time, how long I have. So let me know if I'm going to go faster or slower. Just chat me up and I'll look at it and see. The next test is what we call the alignment test, which I've already spoken about. How does your L&D strategy align, not just to the overall business, but to even other units? Because see, as L&D or HR, if I call L&D, just if you're your HR and you're doing L&D, that's fine. And just know that it is not just your duty to come up with that L&D strategy. I hope you know that. You're going to meet other stakeholders and handshake. You go to the finance people. So the key people, when you're drawing up your strategy, so it depends on your level in your organization. I don't know what your structure is. So I would always advise that before, maybe like this year, for you to start planning for strategy for next year, you start like August, September. Have meetings with the people in finance, maybe the head of finance or director of finance, depending on your structure. Meet with the manufacturing, head of manufacturing or director of manufacturing, IT, like that. Put them together. You people should come together in a room and sit down and talk. With that, there are questions. I'll show you questions you would ask them. 4 questions they will answer. The remaining 2, you're the one to answer it as the L&D. You cannot come up with a strategy or in isolation because you are not the one in finance department. You're not the one in manufacturing department. You're not the one in IT department or in operations. You are in L&D HR. So you need their input. You need the input of these people in these various other departments. Alignments. So it must align so that sales are not doing something else. Sales will say, I told you we want training in marketing and you're sending my people on another training. Or I need people to be mentored and they're not having opportunity to be mentored. So that we can have an alignment. Then third, which is a third test, is measurement. How is your strategy being measured? How can you, whatever strategy you've put in, is it working? If it's not working, do you know that it's not working? Can you test and know that it's not working? So this is what I call the L&D strategy business test. The 3, I call it RAM: relevance, alignment, and measurement. Okay, so let's move ahead. Let's move ahead. I hope we are still together. We are still together. And before I need to put that's very important. I just remember that I need to put this. Hope you know that your strategies is a fallout of the business goals. I've talked about your business, your strategy is not just in isolation. Okay. Oh, my village people, this thing is not moving. Okay, that's the end. I thought my village people have started again. Now, let's look at the qualities of an L&D strategy. What are the qualities of an L&D strategy? One, your L&D strategy, which is what I've been talking about, should be designed around what the business wants and not what the L&D department wants. I can see someone. Okay, thank you so much. Mary, thank you. Thank you, Lucy. It's kind of things like this I like. They'll be telling me, go on, we are with you. So, and this should be designed around what the business wants and not what the L&D department wants. Now, I'm going to read something out for you. Now, let me give you an example of what an L&D team wrote as their strategy. I'll read it out. They said, the L&D team states that learning and development needs to be an integral part of our business. It should be available to everyone and be flexible to suit different learning styles and work patterns. I beg, is that a strategy? What do you say about that strategy? Let me read it again. The learning and development team states that learning and development needs to be an integral part of our business. It should be available to everyone and be flexible to suit different learning styles and work patterns. It should meet the needs of the individual and the team, both now and in the future. Compare that to this one I want to say, and I want to read out now. The second one is, another L&D team says, all employees need the knowledge, the right level of skills and behavior to deliver on our corporate plan. And our corporate plan, that is our business priorities, our strategic objective, and our strategic objectives of the business. Out of these two, if these two L&D team people come to you, what will you say? Not a strategy, okay. On Nigeria has said it, Mary has said, okay, good. So, do we understand? So, and this strategy must be built around what the business wants. That one, the first one is what the L&D team wants. Talking story. Once upon a time. We don't have time for stories again. We are at the table now. We are strategic. So you need to be strategic in what you say, right? So that is one of the qualities of an L&D strategy. Ensure it is built around what the business wants, not what the L&D department wants or what the L&D department thinks. The second one is, I've talked about this, joint ownership. See, L&D people, it is not you that owns the L&D strategy alone. It is a joint ownership between the various business units and the L&D department or the HR department. So I put /HR department for those that are in the HR department, and that's also your function of the L&D. You're not separate. It is a joint ownership. Ensure you make them understand that, and you do that. That's one of the ways you will succeed. Then the third thing, qualities of let me see, I think I see something, someone. Okay, the second, okay, thank you so much, Franca. The key is the 70-20-10 framework. I'm sure you know about the 70-20-10 framework. Now, the 70-20-10 framework is, it says that let the 70 have to be on the job. 20 be interaction and collaboration, while 10% is formal learning. So you can see, for those of us that keep talking about learning, training, it's just 10% that is training, just 10%. 70 years on the job, 20 is interaction and collaboration, which we call social learning, which is what we call social learning, and the 10 is formal training, formal learning intervention, which is training. Huh? Seriously? I thought you said, Olade told you, just showed me my time. Oh, please permit me. That means I may not ask so many questions. Now let me be faster, please. So permit me to be faster now. Okay. So that is what, so the third thing is enable the 70-20-10 framework. And of course, we know the 70 has to do with coaching, mentoring, then the on the job job shadowing, on-the-job instruction, why the 20 has to do with social learnings, how people learn from each other, how as colleagues, you ensure they learn from each other. So what we call the action-based learning. We also have apprenticeship. So we have so many things which that is not just training that you can find out that your business could use. Now, the fourth thing is it should be measurable. If you're not measuring your L&D strategy, you cannot. So you cannot, what's that word again? When you cannot measure, you cannot be able to say, this is where we've gone, this is what we are doing. So you should be able to measure your L&D strategy. And last but not the least, please, let it be clear. Let it not be complicated. Clear and not complicated. Now, these are the essential strategies for your L&D strategy, the essential steps for designing your L&D strategy. Now, how do you design it? So these are the steps. One, determine what is most important for your business. What is the most important for the business? What is their priority? And the essence is trying to find out, to know how can we align what we are going to do as L&D, our strategies, with what the business is saying. So first step is what? What is the priority for our business this year, next year, in 3 years' time? One is determine the actions that the organization needs. Now, if you found out what the priority is, now what is the action to be taken to ensure that that priority, that business objective is met? What are those actions that should be necessary, that business objective, and this should be specific. It does it have to do with a division? Is it a division in the business that has to meet that? Or is it a team? Or is it a certain department, a certain unit? So when you are able to find out the priorities, it will now help you to find out what are those actions that will need to ensure that this business objective that the organization wants to meet, we're able to meet it. Then the third one is determine the capabilities your organization needs to successfully deliver on number 2. Now, you found out that this is what we need. These are the actions we need to take. Maybe are we supposed to recruit more people? Are we supposed to send people on an exchange? Maybe if you're a business that you have various countries or in various states, can we send people to go and check what they are doing so that we can be able to replicate? So whatever actions you've decided to be able to, this is how we want to meet our business objective. Next thing is to find out what are the capabilities. Capabilities means what are the knowledge, what are the skills, and what are the attitude necessary, KSA, necessary for us to be able to achieve step 2. You can see it's in steps. Step 1, what are our priorities as a business, our business objective? Step 2, what are the actions that we need as an organization to ensure that we achieve that our business objective? Step 3, what are the capabilities? What are the knowledge? Is it a knowledge thing? Is it a skill thing? Is it an attitude thing? Is it a combination, hybrid of them? What is it that we need to ensure we're able to hit objectives? The fourth one is determine what your employees must know. So we found out the capabilities. Now, what should they know? Is it, if it's an IT people, is it that they need to know how to have a knowledge of a software, maybe an ERP? Or is it that they have to know about this package? What should they know? That's knowledge. What is the competence they need, the skills and the behavior? If it's on leadership, what behavior do we expect them to exhibit? Is on leadership, what skills as leaders do we expect them to? They should be able to listen more. They should be able to communicate. What is it? So you should be able to find out. That will help you to answer on 4, what you come up with. Determining this KSA will help you to sort out number 3. Number 5, we now determine how the learning and development function. So 1, 2, 3, 4 is what you're going to discuss with other business units. Take note. 1, 2, 3, 4 is what you're going to discuss with other business units. Now, 5 and 6 is what you as the L&D function should now do. It's now your own turn. Why the 1, 2, 3, 4, you work with them, you work collaboratively, you work as a team to come up with that. Then 5 and 6, the L&D function will come up with. Now, determine how the L&D function will support employees. How would you support employees? How to ensure that they know they're able to do in order to meet that goal. Don't forget we said knowledge, know, then the competence, the skills and attitude that they are able to do. So what should we do as L&D to ensure that we have those are employees, they are able to know, now they are able to demonstrate the skills and the attitude for that, for us to be able to achieve those business objectives. Then the last but not the least is How can your business know that L&D has successfully supported the achievement of the business goals? You need to find out. You need to come up with, is it that in every, when we start, so each stage, we send out a communique, or we send out a survey telling them this is what we did a survey, and this is what the survey is saying. We were at 5, now we're at 7. You must be decide on how can we show the business and L&D, we are doing something. It's not just sales and marketing. L&D, we are on top of our job. We know what we are doing. Okay. Thank you so much, evaluation. Thank you so much. We are together. Thank you. Then, now, how do we design? I said to you that training is just a subset of L&D. And I looked at it. I had just less than 2 hours. What should I speak on? Should I speak on coaching? How to design? Is it coaching? Or should I speak on mentoring? Because I also start up mentoring cultures in the organization. Should I do that? I said, okay, what costs across? I noticed that training costs across. And if you know, when we started this session, most people were saying training. So what I'm going to do now for you now, I'm going to show you how to design and deliver effective training program for your business. That when you go and bring your training budget, they will say, they'll say yes. They are not going to even, they will not touch your budget. And I have, what they call testimony. I have a testimony to prove it in a business that did that. So that's what I'm going to go in now. So let me do that now and be faster. So how do we design and deliver effective training programs for your business? My first question to you is, are you ready to make training more effective for your business? Now, there's this word that I wrote, difficult roads leads to beautiful destinations. Yes, difficult leads to beautiful destination. All this thing I talked about L&D strategy, meeting with people, is work. I want to be very plain with you. It is work. However, you will reap it. Are you ready to do the work to reap the benefits? A lot of people want to cut. Is it cut corners? Yes, we can't do that. We have to do it right. So now, are you ready to go through that difficult road, that stress, that rigor, in order to be able to ensure that you're able to show your business, show the organization that there's return on investment on training. Don't touch training budget again. So that is what I want to show you now. And I don't know what your answer is. Please type in your answer. Are you ready to make training more effective for your business? Yes or no? Answer. Okay. Now, as you're typing in your answer, I have another poll for you. Yes. Chioma says yes. Mary says, Lu says yes. Okay, let's go there. Right, let's go there quickly. Before Lolade will tell me my time is up. Let's go there. So I have another poll. Please just type on your, all right, it's A, B, C, D, E. So just type A, B, C, D, or E. I'll read it out because of time. I don't want to put up the post. How effective have your training programs been? How effective have your training programs been? B is marginally effective. C is averagely effective. D is very effective. E is no idea. I'll come again. How effective have your training programs been? A, not effective. B, marginally effective. C, averagely effective. D, very effective. E, no idea. Because there are some people that don't have an idea. C, D, thank you. B, C, D, thank you. Okay, keep it coming. Thank you. Now, making training effective for your business. Getting your training is a process and not a one-off event. And you told me that you're ready, right? Let's go through it now. It's a process. It's not a one-off event. It's going to take a whole lot that you have asked even the stakeholders. However, I promise you, this is a promise. If you can go through this process, they will not cut your training budget again, because you will show that, yes, there's a return on investment. Now, let's go. Now, for effective training to take place, it starts with clear goals. It starts with what? Clear goals. Now, look at this example of the goals of schools. Increase sales skills, gain confidence in dealing with customers, develop and refine sales quality, use sales instrument efficiently. Reflect and shape your own communication behavior. Your thought is as good as mine. These are not clear goals at all. However, we see these people, some of you, this is what you call as a goal for a training, maybe a sales training. Now, according to, which is one of the, a woman I've been following and I've learned her research and I used, that's what I'm saying, this is a testimony. I used it. She says that she's the woman behind the 12 levels of, it's called 12 levers of transfer effectiveness, meaning how you can show return on investment for your trainings. That's what transfer effectiveness is, showing return on investment of it. She says business goal is made up of 3 things: the business need, the impact, and the transfer goal. Now, the business need has to do with your stakeholder expectations. What are the stakeholders? Those are asking for those training. What are their expectations? The second one is the business impact. What are we looking? What are the objectives? What are the results we expect from, if we are sending someone on a sales training, on a leadership training, what are those objectives as a business we're expecting to see? Then last but not the least is the transfer goal, what we call the behaviors we want to see. Now we send those people, what are those behaviors we want them to start showing, start exhibiting as they come back from that training? So take note of those 3 things: the stakeholders' expectations, the result, and the behavior we want to be seeing. Those are things that form the goals. And if you're able to get this, let me tell you, your training is a done deal without having issues when you come on return on investment. Now let's go ahead. Let me show you how to go about this. Now, this is the name of the company. Of course, this is not the name. I used a pseudonym name. It's called Bullion Nigeria Limited. So they're a company in the FMCG industry. They specialize in the manufacturing space. So they wanted to train their service technicians. I'll call them ST. Now, when they said that they wanted to train their, so now let me tell you, for those that are in organizations, you can use this. You can, if you're, so there are 2 things I want to tell you. Those in the HRs and the L&D, you can use this case study to ensure that the training organizations giving your organization, coming to train your people, are doing the right thing. That is one. Then the second one, you can use it for implants, for training website to use your faculty, maybe amongst yourself, to train. Let me take it again. This case study, if you learn it very well, 1, you can use it to ensure that those training companies that are coming to train your people, or you're going outside to meet them to train your people, they are doing the right thing, 1. Then secondly, you can also use it for your internal training. If you want to train your people internally, you can use this. The same thing applies. So when we started, the first thing was the goal setting. You have to meet with the stakeholders. Who are those that are, and when I talk about the stakeholders, there are people that are asking for the training. Is it the IT department? Is it the marketing department, sales and marketing? Is it the finance department? You must meet with them. You must meet with them to discuss. You said you want your people to go on a ERP training. Have that discussion. Why are you sending them on this? Now, bear in mind, when you did need assessment, it could be possible that this has come out from the performance appraiser, that this is what I want this person to go for, maybe a single person. If it's a group of people, this is why I want them to go for this. It could come out from there, or based on the objective, the business objective of our businesses, where they're going to. Whatever reason it is, still have a meeting with the stakeholders, please. Wherever you got that data from, did you get the data from appraiser, or you got the data from a survey that was done, or you got the data from because of the business objective your organization is going to? Please ensure you have a stakeholders meeting. In the meeting, what do? You talk about why did the training come about? What does the training want to solve? Who is the target audience? What do you want to achieve? How important is this training? You can also, so these are things that you can ask, questions. So it can be more than this. So I'm going to just move on because of time. It can be more than this, but you must get the root of why they want an ERP training for this set of people. Have that conversation so that you're holding them accountable. It will not be that L&D, you keep sending people and nothing is happening. No, you're holding them accountable. So one, stakeholders' expectation. Find out what are their expectations, which is what we call the business need. Then the next thing we look at the results. What are those objectives, strategies that this training they want to go on would make a positive impact? What are those objectives that it will make a positive impact? What is it? You must be able to get it. Sit down with them and you will have that conversation and you will come up with it. What will it happen? Okay, with this, customers will stop. We'll have a reduction in complaint from customer, or we have reduction in complaint from colleagues, because sometimes maybe they did a survey and they found out that this department, they don't relate to they're always being a customer. Whatever it is, discuss it. Now find out what are these things? How can we track them? What results will we get from them? What is the data? What is the topics that should be talked about? All these things are important. Don't forget, we said the result. What is the strategic objective that this training will have a positive impact on? If you're unable to get that, that means that training is not necessary. If you're unable to find out this is the strategic objective that this training will positively impact, that means if you're unable to do that, that training should not hold. Now we go to the third one, which is the behaviors now. Now, when these people are going to go for this training, when they come back, what do we want to see? What should be different? What should be different? Is it in the work they are doing? Is it in how they relate to customers? Whichever thing, what should be different? What should be the desired result we want to see? What is it? Please bear with me. NEPA has taken light. Don't worry, they'll soon bring the light. My estate will use Central Gen. Will soon bring the light. So what is the behavior you want to see? What do you want them to display? Do you want them to be able to solve this? So let me move this so I can go to the case study to help you more to understand this better. But I'm sure you're following me now. So what are those behaviors we want to see? What are those things we want to see that they were not doing, we want to see them doing now? Now, you should be able to define what is the difference between a successful training and a training that is not successful. A bad training and a training that is good. Be able to define all these things. I'll be but that is how you will get what you want. We must be able to ensure we go through this process and you will get what you want. Now let's move ahead. That's step one. Now step two. You must have meeting with the people that want to go for the training. There must be a pre-designed meeting. I'm sure maybe some people have never ever done this before. If you've not, start doing it. That's why you're in session today. You must have and it must not be face-to-face. The one we did, it was virtual. People joining from different parts of the country, parts of Nigeria, they joined in. You must have a meeting with the trainees who are going to attend the training. Why? What is the reason? Because you want to find out from them what you will let them know what to expect before the training, during the training, and after the training. They already know what they're coming in for. They already know what they're going to do before the training, during the training, and after the training. You're already sharing outcome for them. This is what we expect to see you doing. This is the impact it will have on the business. And you hear from them. They'll even be the one to tell you. So you're not the one telling them. You're having that conversation. They'll say, okay, if I go into this training, I don't know why I'm going for this training. Someone will tell you that. But you were sent on the training. Okay, since you don't know, do you want to ask your line manager, find out from him what to think? So this is a conversation. Don't think the work is getting too much, but that is how it has to be done. Difficult roads leads to what? Beautiful destination. So these are some of the questions you would ask. Let me move forward. I cannot go through all those questions. You will get the slides. Then the step 3. After you've met with the people that will attend the training, please, you have to have another, because sometimes the people that will attend the training say, I don't know why they're sending me on this training. I don't say sorts of things. Now, you don't forget that the first meeting was with the stakeholders. So you go back. Your people said they don't know why they are going for this training. And they said 1, 2, 3, that they don't need this. This is what they need. Which one are we now going to do now? And that was exactly what happened in this business, this case study I'm telling you. We went the first meeting with the stakeholders. They said all the things that they are not confident. They are not this. They are not that. When we met with the trainees, they were saying a different thing. They said, we don't need all these things they are saying. That this is what we need. And we had to go back and have that conversation. And with that, we were able to have a solidified reasons what your objectives will be. And that's what I'm going to share with you. What the objectives will be. This time I'm telling you, it was back and forth, and the organization had issues. They said, the wahala is too much. I said, just cool down for us. Follow this process and you will see. Now, let me move ahead and tell you what now happened. So you may not be able to see this very well. However, I will share this with you. Now, this is what we came up with. For this, they said the service manager and the HR team, they said they noticed that the STs, the service technician, they consistently did not submit their reports, and they spoke disrespectfully to clients and their colleagues alike. That was what the stakeholders, and the stakeholders were the service manager and the HR team. We now ask them, what do they expect? They said they expect that at the end of the program, they should be able to communicate both verbally and non-verbally, both with their clients and their colleagues in an appropriate manner. They defined what an appropriate manner was. So you will get all this. We ask them, what are the problems you want to solve? All those things are there. How urgent is this problem? So these are things that you will discuss. With that, you have that. Now, this was the impact, the result. They said they wanted to see a 70% increase in adherence to daily update submission, because those were their challenges. That the service technicians were not submitting their update. There were some things they were supposed to be submitting every day. They were not doing it. And because of that, they were losing customers. They were losing funds, because a customer will say, we're waiting for your report. We did not get your report, and you've overstayed in our plan with 3 days. We're not going to pay for that extra day. So the organization had to bear that extra day. So you can see that they kept losing money. As in, this was like a fire brigade. They want this training immediately. I'm like, since you did not know you had this challenge, now you want it immediately. All those fire brigade approach, right? So they said they wanted a 70% increase in adherence in daily update submission, 70% increase in submission of their timesheets, 70% increase in submission of their reports. Then they wanted a 30% decrease in customers and 20% decrease in complaints from colleagues. So we came up with that. So this is what you want. We now went through for the training. And when the behaviors, when I send this, you see, they said the behavior. So one of the behaviors they said was that on or before that the ST should submit a daily report on or before 12 midnight, according to the standard that the project manager will give them. So everything, the behavior must be smart. This is how we want it. On or before 12 midnight, they should have done that. Now, let's see the result. What happened at the end? This is the designing. You're designing, ensure that it is relevant to what the people want. Ensure there's more of practice, constant practice, not talk. Let them do, the more of doing. And last but not the least, ask questions. Then ensure that you ask them to be able to tell you the action plan, what they will be taking away from it, which is what I will be telling you. Now, the responsibility for training is shared. The training provider, maybe either the training provider or the in-house trainer, your business, then the trainees itself. Programs do not work, people make them work. I want to go straightly to what happened in this. Now, this was the responsibility for the training manager. It was to meet with the STs and tell them the importance of the training. It was to tell them the advantage and tell them how it was important to the business. It was to support them. He created a WhatsApp platform for them and kept supporting them, having one-on-one engagement with them. Out of that meeting, they told us that they needed a software that would help them to be submitting their report, which they didn't have. And the service manager did not even know about that. They didn't give them the software. They had to get a software for them. And they said they want their colleagues supporting them. So this was the responsibility of the organization and the manager. The trainee, they promise that they will change their ways. They promise that they will implement everything they will learn. They promise that they would ensure that it works in their personal lives. You will see this. Now, I want to show you the post-evaluation report, which is the cocoa. Okay. Now, in February this year, February 9th, we had a post-evaluation report. Don't forget that, of course, when you're starting, you do the pre, during, and the post. We had a post-evaluation report, and this was the report the service manager gave us. So before the training, they were at a 40% adherence to daily updates. 40%. Their timesheet submission was at 40%. The submission of their report was at 40%. Customers, they had a 50% complaints from customers, 50%. From their colleagues amongst them in the STs, 40%. Now, after the training, see what happened. This was what happened after the training. Now, so no, not after. So before. So this was what it was before. This one I showed you now. Then they said this is where they want to go to, because we asked them, where do you want to go to? They said they want to have a 70% daily submission, 7%. Then in the complaint from customers, they wanted to reduce to 30%. Then from their colleagues, they wanted to reduce to 20%. This was what they wanted. Now see what they got. This was what they got. They got a 90% adherence to daily update submission. So they wanted an increase of 30%, but what did they get? 56% increase. They had a 94% increase in the submission of timesheet. They had a 91.5% increase in the submission of their report. The commerce reduced to 4%. Don't forget that it was what? 56%. It reduced to 4%. So that means they had a 46% decrease. Complaints from colleagues that was at 40% reduced to 6%. That means they had a 34% reduction. And guess what? That's not even the height. The height there was that an employee, the service manager now said, an employee that was on PIP. Of course, we're HR, so we know what PIP is. He was supposed to exit. He was supposed to be exited from the organization after, because the first 3 months, or more, nothing. They gave him extra 3 months. The manager came back and said that he has seen a great improvement with respect to the employee's work style, and said that this employee should not be sent out of the system, that the employee should remain. Because even from customers, they got feedback and reinforcement from these customers, So what are we now saying? I want to play a video for you. I want you to tell me where you are in your business. So I'm going to play it. Lola, they tell me, can you hear this video?
No, I can't.
Okay, let me remove it from this, and maybe with this we'll hear it. Oh, I don't know why it cannot play. It plays before it cannot. I don't know why it cannot play. I will send it to Ross. Well, I'll send it so that you send it to people. It would have been wonderful if you had watched this. I don't know why I said cannot play the media.
Okay.
So last but not the least is, what is your commitment from everything you've learned today? What is your commitment? What are you saying to yourself from everything I've shared with you today? Because for Lolade's video to be on means that, Sandra Omo, your time is up. What is your commitment today for yourself? What is your commitment? And what is the plan? What is your next line of action? What is your next line of action? What are you taking away from today's session, from everything I've spoken? I hope I was able to I was able to convince you, not to confuse you. I was able to help you that what you start doing as you get back to your business. So what is your next line of action? It will be nice to hear from you. When I open it up for questions, it will be nice to hear from you. What's your next line of action? And okay, so I will come back to question. Lola, let me just wrap up, and I'll come back with question. I say, old ways won't open new doors. No, old ways will never open new doors. So whatever it is you've been doing before this session, It cannot take doing it right. So you need to start doing it right so that it will open big new doors and better doors for you. And I say, success doesn't come cheap. It comes with hard work. Are you willing to pay the price for success? The choice is yours now. What will it be? And on this, I just want to say thank you. So it's time for questions. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Lolade, over to you.
Very, very interesting and very relatable session. Thank you very much, Sandra, the Oracle. Thank you for bringing it in short. You went really, 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 really took us in, and it was a deep dive and a very, very interesting one. So do you have anyone that has any questions? Please put your question in the chat box, or you can raise your hand. We have a few minutes. It's a well-spent time. The time is well spent. A very good one. And it's just a very good way to end our evening for some of us, So if you have questions, please share your question, put them in the chat box, or you can raise your hand. Do we have any question?
Someone just showed me how to share the video. So let me see if it works. But continue.
Okay.
Let me see if it will work. Someone just told me how to do it. Let me see if it will work. So if there are questions, please feel free to ask the questions. Why someone just told me how to. So let me stop sharing and reshare with audio. Okay, share with audio. I did share with audio. Okay, it's fine. It's not playing. That's fine. I'll send it over to Ross. I don't know why it's not, but it's fine. I'll send it over to Ross. So Lalade, over to you, please. Yes,
all right. So like I said, once again, thank you. We appreciate the time and the session. So I'm sure a lot of us has been taken from our current destination from our current location to our various destinations. So for those that wanted to go to Malta, so I hope you've arrived at your Malta, the Chicago, So
okay, I can see a question. Lola, I can see a question on the chat. So how do I determine if an employee needs external training or mentorship? For Mary, answer that, Lola.
Sorry, I didn't get that, please.
Okay. I can see a question. Can I go ahead and answer it? I can see a question from Mary.
Yes, please do.
Okay. She said, let me scroll back. How do I determine if an employee needs external training or mentorship? Now, Mary, how to go about that? That means what you're doing is a need assessment. Now, for this employee now, don't forget where we started now. From the based on the business objective. So let me say, for instance, what we want to do is customer satisfaction. And maybe this employee is in customer services, right? Now, is it a training or mentorship the person needs? Now, when it has to do with skills, it is training. So is it possible? Is it that so? Maybe is it in customer service? Maybe she's a front desk person that receives the calls, and so she doesn't know how to receive the calls, or doesn't know where to press, or what. So it has to do with skills. When you need to learn how to do something, that's when you send the person on training. Now, when it has to do with behavior, attitude, behavioral change, most times you make use of mentoring. You make use of what? Mentoring. You also make use of coaching, also dependent. Now, you also have to be very careful. You cannot ask maybe you are my supervisor now. I work under you. You cannot ask you Mary, you cannot mentor me, but you can coach me. According to mentoring, you cannot mentor me, because mentoring is a one-on-one that has to do with me sharing deep things that, even though you want to guide me in your guide me, sharing deep things, you cannot do that. However, you can coach me. So mentoring has to do with behavior. So so if you find out that it's not a skill thing that she knows how to do, is she can really press on this, you do this, go to this thing, then that means it's not a skill. Why are you sending her on training? Find out that it's just her attitude towards it. Maybe it's a laissez-faire. You cannot have a one-on-one with this person to find out, should I send this person to a coach to coach, or should I send this person to someone that would mentor the person? That's if you don't have a formal mentoring or coaching. So they do informal coaching and informal mentoring. I hope this answers your question. I hope this answers your question, Mary. Please let me know if it does answer your question. Mary says, I'm at Bulgaria already. Thank you. That's nice to be in Bulgaria. Now, how do you select? Please tell me, Lola, if my time is up, that's fine. So how do you select mentors for employees that needs mentorship? Should it be internal or external mentors? Now, it also depends on, so if it's formal mentoring in your organization, you must have a mentoring strategy. You must have a mentoring framework. Just like we have our PMS, Performance Management System framework. You must have a mentoring framework. Now, in the framework, it defines now who are those that will be mentors, who are those that will be mentees. Like, for instance, now, I'm not a full staff in LBS. However, I'm on their mentoring program. I mentor one of their managers. So you can, in the framework, it will say we can mentors and internal mentors. So it depends on your framework, on what you want to do. So you can have both external mentors and internal mentors. However, it has to be able to align with your strategy of starting up a mentoring culture in the organization. I hope that helps. And even the lady chose me. She chose me. She said, I like what Sandra is. I want her to mentor me. So your employees can also choose, and you have a one-on-one with those mentors to see if they would want to mentor your employees. Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you so very much. Thank you very much, everyone. So at this junction, I just